The Victorian era marks the 63-year reign of Queen Victoria from 1837 to 1901. It is best known for the Industrial Revolution, authors such as Charles Dickens, and being a period of vast social inequality. In this video, we will be exploring some strange facts about the Victorian era that you probably didn't know. Number 1. During the 19th century, white, translucent-looking skin was all the rage. According to Alexis Carl, a lecturer on Victorian cosmetics, it was all about how to make your skin more translucent. Victorians would go to great lengths to obtain a naturally pale look. Women did not wear a lot of makeup because it was considered tacky. Instead, women would eat arsenic wafers, which were advertised as perfectly harmless. However, arsenic is an extremely toxic compound, and long-term exposure can lead to kidney damage, skin lesions, hair loss, and cancer. Women were slowly poisoning themselves, which gave them a sickly pale appearance. Arsenic was used for cosmetic purposes until as late as the 1920s. Number 2. Nowadays we have ornamental garden gnomes, but in the Victorian era they had real-life garden hermits. They were people hired by wealthy landowners to live on their land in purposely built grottos. The increase in industrialization meant that time spent in the garden was viewed as a luxury. Therefore, hermits would give people in the garden advice and entertain them. They were also encouraged to dress like druids and not wash or cut their hair. The practice was popular in England, Ireland, and Scotland. Number 3. February 14th is a day in which romance is celebrated. Valentine's cards and gifts are sent in the name of love. But in the Victorian era, people would also send cards which were designed to insult the recipient. These cards were called Vinegar Valentines or Comic Valentines. According to Annabella Pollen, a professor of visual and material culture, the cards allowed the sender to insult someone anonymously and were an early form of trolling. Vinegar Valentines would usually feature an illustration alongside a poem or short line. Sometimes the cards were comical, whilst others were malicious. In 1885, the Pall Mall Gazette published an article about a husband who shot his wife after receiving a Vinegar Valentines from her. Number 4. During the Victorian era, tattoos were considered scandalous and were associated with people such as seamen and convicts. However, they were also popular amongst the aristocracy. Beneath their finery, aristocrats had tattoos as a symbol of rebellion against the prim and proper lives that they were expected to lead. In 1898, Harmsworth magazine reported that in Britain, 1 in 5 members of the gentry were tattooed. Albert, the Prince of Wales, joined in on the trend. He had the Jerusalem cross tattooed on his arm whilst visiting the country in 1862. Number 5. In the 19th century, fascination with ancient Egypt was at an all-time high. Travellers would return from Egypt with mummies and hold mummy unwrapping parties. Buying mummies wasn't as difficult as it sounds, as Egyptians had practiced mummification for 2,000 years, so there were plenty to go around. Invites would be sent out, and after guests had enjoyed dinner, the mummy unwrapping would begin. It was a foul-smelling enterprise due to the corpse's odour. Some scholars have questioned whether mummy unwrapping parties happened in the first place, and suggest that it was done by a researcher in an academic setting, such as a university lecture hall. However, there are multiple accounts from people who attended such parties, and we wouldn't be surprised given what we already know about the Victorians. Thank you for watching this video. It would mean a lot to me if you could like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments section if you know any other crazy facts about the Victorians.